Okay, we're back, and the funny thing is, the problems are not really as bad as they seem. A couple of things that I will point out first off, though. So under BP battery pickup, let's go ahead and bring this back over. I realized that I never actually set our emitter template, so make sure you set that to electricity arc so that you actually are spawning your particle system. Yeah. That's helpful.
We were successfully spawning nothing before. Oops.
What we found that the problem was, and it took like 1 minute after we stopped recording for both of us to kind of look at each other and bonk our heads and go, oh duh, is that we are asking for the timeline length of the character during the construction script. And because we dragged a copy of the battery in, all of this is firing way before the game ever plays. So essentially, there is no character at this point. There is no timeline, therefore there is no length, and so discharge time was getting set to 0. So the way we're going to get around that, I'm going to write a really quick test blueprint, just so that it'll spawn the thing during gameplay.
Later on, I'm going to write some code that actually spawns the batteries so that they fall from the sky.
Right, so what we'll do is I'll create a blueprint, and we'll just base it on actor. And this is off the top of my head, so we'll say temp and in all caps, right? So you'll know that you can delete it later. And we'll call this test spawner. And we'll open this up. Now, because this is just going to spawn something, it's not going to have a significant visual component in the game, but I do want to be able to see it in the editor. So the first thing I generally do for that sort of thing is add a billboard. And that can just keep the dragon head. That's fine. Or whatever that is. I still don't really know. Then we'll say on begin play, out of force of habit, we don't necessarily have to do this, but just to make sure that there's never a question of what's happening first, I'm going to do a really tiny delay here. And even the 0.2 is fine. I won't even feel that. Then we will spawn actor from class. The class we choose will be the battery. So this BP battery pickup, not the battery pickup. We want the blueprint class. And where are we going to spawn it? Well, we will get actor transform, and that's the transform of ourself, of this spawn actor. And we'll plug that in there, and that should be all we really need.
This is good. It will let us test the spawning behavior that we're going to work with later on.
All right, so we'll save this. We'll go over to battery pickup. We'll save that. Let's get all this stuff off the screen for just a moment. We'll drag a copy out into the view, and let's hit play. And there's our battery. So if we hit the button, we get lightning, and it disappears at the end of the timeline.
Success.
So yeah, it's success. It's just right now our lightning looks horrible. So let's take just a second, and we can tweak that down a little. To do that, let's just find our electricity arc real quick. Oh, well, come up here to the game folder, it'll be a lot faster. There we go. Now, this is a fast thing, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because this is not exactly a video about using Cascade. The first thing we're going to do is take our initial color, which is actually driving how bright the lightning bolt is. If you really are just dying to see why, if you take the beam ramp material and open it up, you'll see that particle color alpha is driving the opacity, and the overall color is being multiplied into emissive color. So if we downscale that amount of color being fed into initial color, the thing won't glow as bright. So let's divide this by 10. Let's say we'll go down by a factor of 10. So we'll go to 5 and 10 and 25. And we'll just test that like immediately. So we can just hit play. Also, our little spawn has helped us really iterate on this much more quickly. And even that really probably is going to be just fine. If you wanted to do anything else, like you could take maybe the noise node. The frequency's fine, but you could take the noise range, which is pretty high right now. It looks less like lightning and more like a bunch of wavy lines that you drew with a magic marker. We could pull that down maybe by half, so we'll say 20 by 20, and that's how far that is moving. It's kind of like an amplitude, if I remember my terminology. And let's just try that. Save. Again, quick iteration, hit play, hit E. Oh, there you go.
There he goes.
Yep, and then if we test it one more time, we can probably punt it and hit E, and you can see that kind of update behavior. So if that wasn't updating fast enough, of course we already discussed, you can just go right into your battery pickup, and in the event graph you could lower this delay, but I think 10 times a second is good enough for our
Well,
purposes.
I mean, it looked like it was following you around pretty well.
Yep, so with that, we've got our battery all solved. Sorry for the quick, I guess, like sense of confusion, but it was just a matter of remembering the order in which things need to take place. But you know, it's what we get for being human. So I think that is going to wrap things up for not only this video, but I'm pretty sure, at least for now, the artistic side of things.
Yep, that's all the art. So.
Okay, so I'm going to pass this back over to Lauren, and you guys can continue coding. Take it easy.